Hello guys, and welcome to Griffo's Retro Gaming. And today I'm going to be showing you my PSP collection that I have. I've built it up since the beginning of this year actually, when I bought a new, I say a new second-hand PSP, but it was in lovely condition for 10 quid. And I saw how cheap the games were that it was a no-brainer to start collecting because some of them are fantastic as well. And I'll speak about each game as I go through the video. I'm going to make it quite quick though because there is a lot. There's around 40 I believe. So yeah, it could be really long if I went in depth. So I'll try and keep everything to a minimum. The PSP that I have is the model 3000. And I got the PSP originally on the Christmas just after release, and I'd worked. It was back in the day when you could get double pay for bank holidays, and I'd worked Boxing Day, New Year's Day, and I'd saved up enough money to get a PSP. And the reason I wanted one so badly is, this thing was hyped. But I'd gone into a gaming store and there was one of the staff there and he had one and he was showing people what it was like. So I had a look and I really vividly remember playing Wipeout on it. And I was just awestruck because at that point my handheld gaming was just Game Boy Advance, I believe, at that point. So the PSP just blew me away, it really did, and I had to get one. So that is what I did. And just over the years, I fell out of love with it. The Vita came along and sort of stole the show, if you like. So yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the PSP, and I'm really enjoying collecting for it. Now, the downsides is that it only has one thumbstick, where ideally you'd want two for the first-person shooter games and some other games as well. That's what the Vita got right. Otherwise, though, it's absolutely fine. And the 3000 model, which I have here, is a better screen than the original, but it's very, very light as well compared to the original, which was quite, they call it a fat. It was really well made and heavy, and this just feels a bit cheap, I won't lie. It does feel a bit cheap, but it's got a better screen on it, so overall it's the best way to play your PSP games. So let's get into the games then. So first off, I'll just explain that it was a entertainment system first and foremost, and it did play videos, or UMDs if you like. That's the proprietary disc that it uses. And they released so many films onto the UMD format. And I have one. Well, I say it's the only thing I really need. And it's bottom. Yeah, the complete first series. Okay, without further ado, we'll get into the games. Now, this is in no particular order. And that's to keep you on your toes, really. So I'm going to give a rating out of 10 for each game. And granted, I haven't played all of them, but for the ones that I have, I'll give a rating out of 10 for you. Bear in mind that this rating is for the PSP system only, so if I rate one 9, that doesn't mean I rank it among the best games ever. It's just 9 for the PSP catalogue, if you like. So first up is Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. And these are wonderful. They're great games on the PSP. They play really well. Graphically, they're really nice. And yeah, just smooth. It's got the videos, wrestler videos on there. So season modes. I think there's a GM mode on this as well. And yeah, I highly recommend it if you're a wrestling fan. Next up, Monster Hunter Freedom. For SmackDown vs. Raw, I've already missed it. SmackDown vs. Raw, I'd give it a solid 8. It's very good. So Monster Hunter Freedom. Never played a Monster Hunter before, and I have give this a little go. I couldn't get into it. I should maybe give it a bit more time, but I think it just wasn't for me. However, it does. Graphically, it's lovely, and the game plays really well. There's all complete. So it'd be a bit unfair for me to judge that, really. So I won't. I'll leave that. It's not that I thought it was rubbish. It was I just couldn't get into it. Next up is Tomb Raider Anniversary, and I haven't played this one, so I can't really comment. But again, graphically, looking at the back, it looks stunning. I assume it's just a part of the anniversary of the consoles. But yeah, without playing it, it'd be unfair for me to rate that. So next up is Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. And the Grand Theft Auto series on the PSP is wonderful. It is so, so good. It's not quite PS2 standard, but it's good nonetheless. I've been playing that, so I think that's in my case. Graphically, like I said, not quite PS2, but it is very, very close. When you've played Grand Theft Auto 3, you'll know what I mean. It is not far off that. But it's got music in there, voice acting, the lot. It's fantastic. And it was released in, 2005, maybe 2006. Just mind-blowing. Next up then is Medieval Resurrection, which is a part of the original PlayStation game. And I've not played the original PlayStation one, but I have played this. And it is brilliant. It is so much fun. I did find it a bit difficult at times, but I really enjoyed my time with it. I say difficult. I didn't think it was impossible, like with some games. You know, if I really tried, I'd be able to do it. But yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Highly recommended. I'd give it an 8. It is so good. Next up then is an action RPG, Dungeon Siege, which you may know from the PC. And it's an action RPG come hack and slash, and it's alright, it's not bad. There's plenty of things for you to collect and do, plenty of missions. So yeah, it's alright. I'd give it a 7. Jak and Daxter, you'll know from the PlayStation 2, I think they were on. I've not played this, but it does get good reviews. I can't really rate it, obviously, with me not playing it, or not playing it properly. So it's one I do want to get stuck into, though. Just a shame it's a platinum. And Daxter is the next one, and this is supposed to be really good. Again, I've not played it properly. I've only played like a couple of minutes of it, and it did seem quite fun. Graphically, it's okay. It's not wonderful, but it's not bad. Yeah, just a fun game by all accounts. So yeah, it'd be unfair for me to rate that. Next up then is Gran Turismo, which I'm not a racing lover whatsoever. I'm not really into cars. However, this is brilliant. It is absolutely stunning when you're playing it. The graphics are unbelievable. And the mechanics on the game as well, it's so satisfying to be racing on it. It's not the easiest. It is a racing sim after all, but it's translated really well to the PSP, which apparently is really good for racing games anyway. I'd give it a 9, and that's coming from someone who isn't a racing lover whatsoever or complete. Easy 9. Stunning game. Next up is D&D Tactics, which is a tactical role-playing game, if you like. There's quite a lot of these on the PSP, and for the most part, they're very good. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, being a strategy game, turn-based, all that, but this isn't bad at all. It is, it's a lot of fun, really, and all complete. I'd give it a, in terms of like a tactics game, it's a 7, but yeah, I know it's not everyone's taste. So next up is a bit of a hidden gem on the system, and it is Def Jr. And I recently got this from Doncaster, back when we was all allowed out. And you play as DJ or Def Jr. and you're on a field trip, and Pandora opens a box. Pandora's box, nothing else. Don't try and degenerate this video in any way, shape or form. But yeah, and all hell breaks loose, if you like. And it's fun. It's in a really nice art style, a bit like Tim Burton sort of style. So if you've not played it, it's definitely worth checking out. It's all complete. So next up is the Simpsons game, which, yes, it was £5 from CEX, and it was worth it, really. It's a fun game. It's got a lot of your favourite characters in it. The first level, you start off in the land of chocolate from when the Germans take over the power plant. But yeah, it's a fun game, really is. The only criticism I have is that the platforming's not overly easy. It can be really frustrating at times. But generally, it's a good game, and it's all complete. I'd give it a 6, because there is a lot of platforming elements in the game, so if you can't do something, it's not really, the fun factor saves it, essentially. Next up is Super Monkey Ball Adventure, and it's just Monkey Ball. If you've played one, you've played them all, you really have. And this is no exception. It's pleasing, graphically pleasing, it plays so well, and yeah, a lot of fun. I haven't got the instructions for this, it's the only one I haven't got the instructions for. But yeah, I recommend it if you like your Super Monkey Ball. Easy 7 out of 10. So next up is a game that I really enjoyed, and it is Unsolved Legends. And there is 2 of them, this is number 1. And look at the price, £1.50. It's an action RPG along the lines of Diablo and Dungeon Siege, which I showed you earlier. And yeah, it's just pleasing all around. The combat's great, the weapons and skills are satisfying, and yeah, it's just a great game, really. I like it. If you're into your action RPGs, it's really good. So I'd give it an 8. Next up is Crazy Taxi Fair Wars. What a game. It is, and I'll tell you why. So it's just Crazy Taxi 1 and 2. And I mean, that's good enough, innit, on the go. Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 in the palms of your hand. But where it really comes into its own is it's a multiplayer game as well. And you battle for fares against whoever you're playing with. So you all link up, and yeah, you're battling for fares and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy Taxi, but yeah, a lot of fun. All complete. I'd definitely give that an 8 at least. Next up is one of the best games on the system, and it is Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. And it is very much like Vice City, set in the same city, obviously. It's a few years before the Vice City on the PlayStation 2. Again, this did get ported to the PlayStation 2 later on. But you play as Vic Vance. That's Lance Vance's younger brother. And he's in the army. He's a soldier. But yeah, all the graphics are not far off Vice City on the PS2, if it'll focus. And it's got different music on it, but it's all proper 80s music. So all complete. I've even got the map as well. And it's got Phil Collins on it. What more do you need? I'd give that a 10. It is wonderful. Next up is Football Manager 2008, and this just don't work for me. It's way too fiddly, and I mean, management games in general just don't work on consoles, in my opinion. And this is no different. Not a lot to say, it's just all words, but it is all complete. I think it was 50 pence, but yeah, I mean, I love football and I love Football Manager games, but these aren't that good. I'd give it maybe a 5. You may find some enjoyment out of it, but I highly doubt it. Next up is God of War Chains of Olympus, and it is a very good God of War game. Again, it's the hack and slash that you'd expect, but it plays really well, yet again. I'd give it a 9. It is that good. There's another one as well, Ghost of Sparta, which costs quite a bit. I think that's about £10 in CEX, but if it's anything like that version, then it's going to be good. Next up is a fan from a charity shop, so it cost me 99p, and it is Lego Indiana Jones. So just a Lego game. Again, if you've played one, you've played them all. You know what you're supposed to be doing, and they're fun. I do like my Lego games, so if you do as well, I recommend. Oh, I haven't got a... Yeah, I forgot about that. I haven't got a booklet for that one. And along with it, I got Star Wars 2, Lego Star Wars 2. Again, Lego game. I think for both of these Lego games, because, like I say, you've played one, you've played them all, I'd give them a 7. They're not a bad experience whatsoever. They're pretty fun. Next up is Lord of the Rings Tactics, which isn't a bad game. I just haven't got deep into it like I did with the Dungeons and Dragons one. It just didn't grip me as much, but it's a tactical game set in the Lord of the Rings world, and graphically it's alright, it's not bad at all. I'd have to give it a 7, I think, again. So, yeah, 7. Again, if you don't like tactical games, you'd probably score lower, but for those that do, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Next up is a game that's quite pricey, and that is Silverfall. And when I say quite pricey, it's 12 quid, but that's quite pricey for a PSP game. And it's another action-adventure game. It's one that I had originally on the system. And I don't know if you can see the graphics. It's very much like Unsolved Legends. You'd swear it was the same game, actually. But yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. 7, again. Next up then is Medal of Honor Heroes, which is exclusively for the PSP. And it's a first-person shooter, as you would expect. Now, yeah, I said earlier that it's not the best system to have a first-person shooter on because you've only got one stick. But you soon get used to it. You have to use the shoulder button and move the stick to move around, but it becomes second nature. It's not as bad as it sounds. And yeah, it's alright, it's Medal of Honor. And I've enjoyed playing this game. I'd give it a 7. It's not bad whatsoever. And Medal of Honor Heroes 2. Along the same sort of lines, just a different campaign. And yeah, it's fun again. I'd give it a 7, same as the first. It doesn't improve an awful lot, but it's not any worse than the first. So as mentioned, I had to get this, and it's Wipeout Pure. And this was the game that I played when I first went into the store and had a look at the PSP. And it's fantastic. It really is. Again, I'm not into racing games. I know this is slightly different because it's futuristic and using like ships, but it's a lot of fun. It's so fast-paced and it really shows off the power of the system. It's fantastic. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's one of the better ones. Next up is SOCOM. I didn't like this. It's a tactical sort of first-person shooter game. You can control your squad to do certain things, and I didn't like that. It was just more things to think about. It didn't really do it for me. I know it will for some people, but yeah, for me it just didn't. No, I'll give it a 7, just to be fair. Next up is XMen Legends 2, which I haven't played, so I can't rate this one. I think it's just a port of the PS2 and Xbox version. I'm not 100% sure, but the cover's the same. And yeah, it looks alright. It looks a bit like a action RPG or hack and slash, if you like, with some different modes in there. But you can do co-op and a few other things as well, and it's starring your favourite Marvel characters, if you're into that type of thing. I'm not, so... And next up is Killzone Liberation, which looks very much like X-Men Legends in the game style, if you like. But yeah, it'd be unfair for me to really grade it, so... screenshots, maybe see them. Yeah, like I said, it'd be unfair for me to rate it, so I won't. Next up is Midnight Club Dub Edition, and there was this on the PS2 and Xbox as well, I believe. So again, not played it. It's a racer game. I think you do street races under the cover of night, by looks like. But yeah, again, it'd be unfair for me to rate, but it's all complete. Field Commander, which I got for £1 from CEX. It's a tactical game. I couldn't get into it whatsoever. I'd give it a... There you go, some screenshots there. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't the best, but... Driver 76. Again, it's not the best game in the world, so it tries to be like GTA, set in the 70s. It just didn't work for me. There's a lot of plus points, but yeah, it's never going to be as good as something like Grand Theft Auto. I'd give it a 5. I really didn't take to this. I'm not going to rate this one because I have had a look at it, but I haven't played it as such because I just don't understand it. I'm not really into card games, and I'm really not into Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd be able to maybe blag my way through Pokemon, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Not a chance. So, yeah, I'm not going to rate that. But there is quite a few of these, is it the Tag Force games? I think there's 3 on the PlayStation Portable alone, but the third one being quite expensive, I believe. Could be wrong. Next up is Brother in Arms D-Day, which is a really good game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I didn't play it to completion or anything, but I enjoyed what I did play. It's a good first-person shooter, or as good as you're going to get on the PSP. It runs nicely, and you know the graphics are pretty good. I don't know if it'll zoom, if it'll focus. Yeah, that's the best I can get, but yeah, it's pretty good. Range of weapons, like you can see the sniper rifle there. You've got grenades, guns, all sorts. Yeah, pretty good. I'd give that a 8 out of 10. Next up then is a load of Final Fantasy games. So I've got Final Fantasy 1, which is a remake of the NES version. And I have just started this, and it's pretty good. I really like it. So that might even be in the PSP. Yeah, really good game. I just like the art style on it. Everything flows nicely. The music's nice, and I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Really, really like it. Then I've got there is Final Fantasy 2 and 3, I believe, but the next one I've got is Final Fantasy 4, and this is a complete collection edition. So in there's some cards. That's like a cleaning cloth, and then there's some cards which are quite nice, art cards. Just focus that. Really nice. It's just a nice little thing to have in a collection. And then, of course, you've got the game itself, which is in a really nice... It has a really nice cover to it. But I haven't played this as yet, so I can't rate it. I've never played Final Fantasy IV, but my friend, he really likes it. He's a Final Fantasy fan though. Alex, if you're watching, Alex Watson. Next up is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. And this is my original, which I got for my birthday years ago. And I didn't really take to it, unfortunately. Now, I don't believe it's the game's fault, because what got me was it was just different. I wanted a Final Fantasy VII experience on my PSP, what I had on the PlayStation, and what this gave me was totally different. Not bad, just different. It's a game I need to get back to and give it my full attention and another go. It'd be unfair for me to rate it, because from my experience I'd rate it pretty low, and I don't believe it is a bad game. So it's one I'm going to try and get back into, but it is all complete. Next up is Final Fantasy Tactics, which is a great tactical game if you are into that genre. And set in the Final Fantasy universe, it's really fun. It's really good. I've not completed it or anything, but my time that I had with it, I really enjoyed it. I'd give it an 8. Yeah, definitely. Maybe even a 9. 8.5, we'll call it. And finally is Dissidia Final Fantasy, which I've never played, but I believe it's like a fighting sort of game featuring characters from Final Fantasy games. Not really for me, but for £3, and it's just nice having the collection, really. Another Final Fantasy game. So I won't rate that with me not playing it. Next up then is Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, and this is a great game. I'm not into Star Wars, but then I'm not into James Bond, and I like James Bond games, so, you know. I really, really enjoyed it. The fighting style on it is great, and set in the Star Wars universe, I don't really know a lot about, I'll be honest. I know what Stormtrooper is and who Darth Vader is, and that's about it. But you can fight it. It's got different styles of... So you're on foot fighting, and then you're in a... Is that a X-Wing? I should stop guessing. But yeah, pretty good game. And next up is Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've not really played this game, not like the first one, but it was okay what I played of it. I won't rate that. The Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, I will give 8 out of 10. Second one, I've not really played it, so I won't rate that. Transformers, the game. Bitterly disappointed with this. Now, again, I don't watch films or anything, but big franchise film games are usually rubbish anyway, and this is, in my opinion, no exception. It was so boring. It could have been good, and it was boring. But, I don't recommend it whatsoever. I'd give it a 4. I'm just glad I paid £2 for it. Next up is Mercury Meltdown, and it is a great puzzle game. So you have all these boards, if you like, and you have to get your ball of mercury from one end to the other, but you have to... you have to use the different states of Mercury as well. So you can heat it up to turn it into a liquid. You can have it normal, so it's like soft, if you like, and then you can have it as a solid as well. And they all the different states help you get through the different mazes. Really, really fun. Not a bad word to say about it. Not the best puzzler in the world, but 75p at the minute in CEX. I'd give it a 8 out of 10. It's great. Next up is Star Trek Tactical Assault. One word sums this game up. Boring. It is so boring. I was fighting something. I'm not into I don't really watch TV, as I say. And I was fighting, I don't know, for the sake of this story, it was this that I was fighting. And it had such a generic, like, shooting noise on it. It was awful. And it was taking it in turns, so it was just... Then you'd go... Oh, it was so boring. Really don't recommend this. I'd give it I can't see any fun from it. I'd give it a 2. It's not even amazingly graphically pleasing or anything. It's just, yeah, not for me. So next up is a great game called Gangs of London, and it's made by the people that did The Getaway. Like a Grand Theft Auto game, but it's set in London, and it's just brilliant. Just all the landmarks in London. You've got red buses, double deckers, and the red phone boxes, things like that. And you're just doing missions, but around London, which just makes it so much better than a generic city. You know, the games are always better when there's in a real setting, I think. And this is really, really good. I had so much fun with it. Personally, I would give it a 9. I would put it up there with Vice City, Liberty City Stories. Next up is a fun game, and one I wasn't expecting to be fun. 50 Cent Bulletproof G-Unit Edition. And you just play as 50 Cent and kill things and people. But it's got his music and his videos, and it's his game, as it says. He doesn't take it seriously, and that comes across in the game. It's so much fun. I did enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of 50 Cent or his music, but I'd give it an 8. There's definite fun there to be had, for sure. Finally, then, is another game that I haven't played, and it's Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. So I can't really go into this too much, but it is a Battlefront game, so I assume it's like the other ones. I've only really played it to capture footage on, and, you know, but yeah, it looks nice enough, and it looks like the others, so hopefully it's as good as the others too. And that's my collection, guys. I'm really, really happy with that. There's so many good titles there. I maybe was a little bit liberal with the scores, but I really have fun with the system. It's a very underrated system these days. Just the support it got compared to the Vita. I mean, the games you've got there are just fantastic. And that's what should have happened with the Vita, but for various reasons it didn't. So if you're on the fence for collecting for the PSP, don't be. It is a wonderful system. And it just shows with the amount of exclusive titles, ports and remakes. And that's the sort of support that the Vita should have got, but it never did. The games are so cheap, and you can go into CEX and with a $5 and get 5 decent games, maybe more, because some are 50p, 75p in some cases. So, yeah, it's not a system to be scared of whatsoever. It's a brilliant, underrated future gem, if you like. I think it will get big at some point. So that's my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to say thank you for watching, and thank you for your support as always. I'll see you again very soon. Take care. And if you're on the fence for collecting for the PSP, well, don't be. It's a wonderful system that's vastly underrated at the moment. Like, out of those games that I've shown you, there's some wonderful ports, there's some great exclusives, and some brilliant remakes. It's criminally underrated these days, and to go into a shop and buy like 5 PSP games for a £5 and you're getting some quality games, it really is a system to collect for. That's what I have, and I'm always looking to add more to it. So yeah, this is a nice video to just look back on, if nothing else, just to see what I did have. So I want to thank you all for watching. Your support is appreciated as always, and I'll see you again very soon with another video. Take care.